talking about the K-Revolution, the Korean Revolution that's happening in Olympic Park here in Korea. And, this goes right along the lines of what President Trump wrote on Truth Social. What is going on in South Korea? It looks like a revolution or a purge. In actuality, it's a revolution and a purge. He was right on both counts. And in a sense, what's going on in Olympic Park is a counter-revolution, because there has been a communizing revolution that is going on in South Korea, where there was a coup d'etat, where the levers of power in the government were stolen. And this is now a counter-revolution by the people to try to oppose the communization that is happening at a rapid clip here in Korea right now. It may be shocking to hear for many in the US, but President Trump got it right, that there's a revolution and a purge going on in South Korea, and this counter-revolutionary movement in the Olympic Park and in the country is a hopeful movement to counter the coup d'etat that has happened here in South Korea. They're paid parts of the National Election Commission. They're like, nothing to see here. We're not going to allow investigation. We're not going to judge on the merits of the case. It's not that they are gathering evidence and examining on the merits and coming to well-reasoned judicial decisions. Is that they are blocking investigation, that they are not getting to the merits, and they're dismissing the cases. So in light of that, I think it is laughable to say, the judicial whatever. No, they're not doing much of anything to really pursue the actual truth and merits and justice of the situation at all. On the other hand, I was leading the election monitoring team in the 2025 election, and we wrote a public report that is available to anyone to see online in terms of what the problems were there. And I have also been part of the Korean American election investigation team that is going on during the 2026 election. And so this is not some sort of wild goose chase looking for things that don't exist. I would have been happy, frankly, I would have been happy if I was part of both of those teams and I looked at it and I said, great, the elections are fair, the elections are free, the elections have integrity, the elections have transparency. But I have seen the opposite. And there are so many indications of that. And now, if people, the mainstream media likes to call me an election fraud conspiracy theorist, well, you'll now have to call just about the whole country that, because the country is overwhelmingly aware now that the election fraud is real. They have been suffering from it, and their country is being taken away from them through that. And so because that's the case, when you have 140 locations where they don't even have enough ballots for citizens to vote, that's voter suppression. That is election cheating. And these were particularly focused in conservative parts and districts of Korea, right? And so when you have all sorts of different kinds of fake ballots that are there, when you have electronic election system that is so vulnerable that Korea's own NIS, which is the equivalent of the CIA in the US, they have identified it as flunking the penetration test that was done that shows it's so vulnerable to being interfered with. When you have Huawei components that are in the electronic system, when you have the National Election Commission touting Chinese leaders, when you have, it is also known that Wang Huning, one of the top people in the Chinese Communist Party, together with Han Fangming, who has been more of the operational person relating to Korea, when you have election cheating that has followed the Belt and Road Initiative all over the world, when you have the Association of World Election Bodies here in Korea, which is exporting the means of election fraud all over the world, this is what is going on. And so people who want to dismiss it as an election fraud conspiracy thing. No, these are election fraud advocates. These are usually people who have some sort of benefit or interest in seeing that the election cheating is not known as much. But now the cover has been blown open, and the overwhelming majority of Koreans know that this is what has been going on, which is why day and night, they are in the Olympic Stadium protecting the ballot boxes to demand that there be a fair election run again, and that it be one day, single day voting, that it's paper ballots, that it be transparent, that it be done in a way that's actually fair, right? That actually reflects the will of the people, because it has not. And you have insiders coming from the National Election Commission who are whistleblowing publicly and saying, this is the fraud that's going on inside. And they are publicly laying it out. They know that from the inside, and they're sharing it. They are not election fraud. They are election fraud witnesses, is who they are. And that is what is happening. There was someone who resigned because his conscience would not allow him to stay at the National Election Commission. And I would be happy to be wrong. I don't want there to be election fraud. Why would I want there to be election fraud? And I'm not even a citizen of Korea. I never plan to run for any office in Korea. So I'm not a Korean politician either, So this is not about me or my future aspirations. Has nothing to do with that. So if I am wrong and there has been no election fraud, it's been clean, it has integrity, I would celebrate that. But I've seen too many indicators that are telling me the opposite. So it would be dishonest of me to say that I haven't seen these indicators of election cheating. I have not done anything hidden in a corner. I've been very public in what I've said in my speeches and in my media things. And there has not been a single question that I've been asked that I haven't addressed by any media source. And so this is all available for people to, you name it, anyone can access and evaluate, look at what I'm saying and what I'm putting forward. And so I have, unlike the NEC and AWEB, I've sought to be transparent, right? In, even about personal things, in terms of things. Now, at the same time, I have to be wise and have discretion because I don't want other people to be harmed by disclosing things that are inappropriate to disclose. So I still retain a measure of discretion in terms of not sharing things that could potentially harm other people. But generally speaking, I've been very candid, and I've been very open, and I've shared these things that I've shared publicly and not in a corner. So if any of them want to see it, they're welcome to hear what I say and to watch what I put forward. To the country are in grave danger because of what is happening. And so the people are doing a great job of fighting in the midst of this very oppressive and repressive situation where there are grave dangers from the Chinese Communist Party, from North Korea, from the radical leftists in South Korea who are communizing this country, who are collapsing the rule of law, who are trying to turn the miracle on the Han River into the prey of North Korea and the Chinese Communist Party. This is the real hybrid, unrestricted warfare that is being waged against the Korean people, and the Korean people are fighting strongly, bravely, persistently, tenaciously to try to keep their country. And I salute that. I praise that. I think this is a historic time where the communists think they could finally take over and break the country. and the Korean people are fighting courageously and bravely against it. And I truly have a great deal of respect for that, and I only want to encourage them in this important fight that is there